Hey guys, Mike from the Show Outdoors. Spring's right around the corner, and all of us are thinking about what can we do to our bikes to make the riding season more enjoyable. For me, I purchased a Husqvarna FE350s back in October, and FE350s, look, it's really a dirt bike with turn signals on it. It's a great bike, but it came through with these very familiar tire to many of us, a Continental TKC80, both on the rear and on the front. And I just rounded out the season with them. I put about 500 miles on them. But as I think about the riding that we do, a lot of single track, a lot of rocky sections, creek crossings, stream crossings, and we do a fair amount of climbs. So you get to the top, you need some traction instead of kicking out. So this tire, again, it's a good tire if you're looking to do some road riding. It's certainly pretty smooth on the road, doesn't hum. Very little to no vibration. So if you're the kind that does 50-50 riding on road and off road, these TKC80s that came through OEM style, they might be fine for you. But for me, I do a lot of dirt riding. Again, we're in a slippery rock area. I need something that's a lot gummier than this. This is certainly a much harder compound. From a stock standpoint, the rear tire came in at a 140/80/18. What you typically see. The 140 size is what you see a lot of the hard enduro riders still riding. But you'll see when I show you the new tires that I mounted, that I put on a narrow tire, a 110. And then on the front is a 90/90 21 inch. And again, great tires. Certainly there's plenty of tread life left on these stock tires, but they just weren't cutting it for me from a traction standpoint, on the off-road. So what I moved to is the Geomax AT81EX, and the EX is the ultra gummy tire. So this tire, when you rub your pant leg up against it, you have black rubber on your pant leg. They're that soft of a tire. You can see that in comparison to this stock or OEM Continental TKC80 that was on there, you can see it's a more narrow tire. So this is a 110. The new tire is a 110. This stock tire was a 140. But also you can see the separation of the lugs, so you're going to be able to move out the mud and the dirt a lot quicker, the rocks. So this is a tire. This is a serious off-road tire. I'm excited to run it. Used to run it on some old bikes that I had. Haven't run this in about 2 or 3 years. So really looking forward to this one. Now, the big difference is on this tire, on this AT81EX, I only expect to get about 10 or 12 hours of runtime out of it before I need to replace it. So that's a trade-off that you make. When you're on a harder compound tire like this TKC80, it's going to last for you. This already has 500 miles on it. But the moment that you go over to something like this, again, 10 to 12 hours, that's probably max, and it'll need to be replaced at that point. As we move around to the front tire, I strayed away from what I typically do. I typically run the Bridgestone M59 on the front. Love that tire. It's a great tire, great traction, instills a lot of confidence for the rider. This is the Continental TKC80, and again, we mentioned earlier when we were talking about the rear tire, this compound's just a little harder for my liking. It's a harder compound than what I like to run. So what I did is I chose to run the sister tire to the Dunlop AT81EX that I have on the rear, and I'm going to run the Dunlop AT81 front tire. And again, this is a 90/90/21, just like the OEM tire, but it is, it's not as hard of a compound. It's a softer compound. It's not a gummy like the rear, so I should get, at least 5 or 6 rear AT81EXs to this front tire before I need to change it. But because it is a softer compound and then I'm running the gummy on the rear, I'm expecting much better traction in the wet terrain, the wet rocks. When we're climbing, you get to those last 10 or 20 yards and it's nothing but straight up. You need all the traction you can get. So I'm very excited to get this bike out, run it. I love the bike. I love this Husky, FE350s. Put a good set of tires on it like this, and it should be golden out on the trails, a single track, and when we're out there climbing. So for any of you that have run these tires before, I'd love to hear your comments, your feedback on them. I'll certainly check in, after the first 5-6 hours, 10 hours on these tires, and we'll see where we're at. particularly on that rear. I'm thinking we're going to get max 10 to 12 hours out of that rear tire. So I'll check back. But again, if you guys have any comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And if you have any suggestions of how I can get rid of these ugly turn signals in the front, I'd love to hear your ideas in the comment. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.